Hello, mic check. That's for someone. What is going on, guys? Migoy here from toomuchgaming, and today we're going to be looking at something very special, as Great Toys sent us this gigantic package for us to look at. And no, this box is not deceiving you. As you can see written there, this is the Voltus 5 DX Soul of Chogokin Volt-In box. And oh man, look at this thing! It's huge! Oh, we're gonna be unboxing this, taking a look at all the pieces. Hopefully I can get as much information as I can out to you. And this is not a troll. Look at that! He's in the box, look! We're gonna unbox him and check out how cool it all is. We'll get back to you. We just free him from this cardboard. It's happening. It's happening. Just let gravity do the work. Oh dear. Oh my gosh. Oh yes. Oh, in all of its glory. It actually looks bigger out of the brown box than it does in. Oh my god. This thing is so big that the box has a handle on it. Greetings and salutations to all the Chodenji children from the 80s and 90s out there as we check out one of the prominent symbols of justice from our childhoods. I am talking about the legendary Ultra Electromagnetic Combiner, Voltus 5. But before that, we'd like to thank the folks over at Great Toys Online, as this review wouldn't be possible without their support. To which we are personally inviting you all to check out the Tamashii Figure Festival 2021, happening at the Festival Super Mall Carousel Court area from February 19th to the 28th, and at the Great Toys Pasay Makati store on March 8th to the 22nd. Today we are taking a look at the very large and in charge DX Soul of Chogokin Volt-In box Voltus 5. A newly released die-cast super robot at a giant scale, as far as action figures go, clocking in at a whopping 61.5 centimeters in height and weighing in at 5.2 kilograms. He's a big and heavy boy. The box in itself is already an imposing beast, with artwork almost identical to the Poppy DX vintage toy. From the design, figure arrangement, and even the poses of the individual machines and combined form. A very nice throwback to anyone who grew up with the original toy. Alright, given the size of this thing, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but we're going to do our best, or I'm going to do my best to unbox this monster, just to see what's in it. I mean, this is what's in it, obviously. Like, you got the base with the V, all the parts and the accessories, and I believe it has a bunch of sound effects in it too, both in here, and I'm not sure if the base has some. But, just so we can get maybe a genuine reaction out of me, we're going to do an unboxing, and I'm just going to squeeze it in the video and see how that turns out. Let's do it. Careful with knives, kids. Snap all the flaps. Looks like it is. Oh my god. Oh, does it open from the front? Oh, yo! Oh, I was expecting this to just slide out, but oh my god! Okay, oh jeez. Alright, we got, I think, the instruction booklet, big Volt machine in there. But look at this. I don't want to tip it over, but holy moly, if you guys can see, it's what I'm looking at right now. I'm so scared of knocking something over. Ooh. Ooh, baby. That is a nice looking display. Oh dear. Look at this monster. All the pieces are nice and separated. Just like the toys of ye old. They come in like styrofoam and junk. I mean, kind of ashamed how this isn't like affixed in any way, it's just resting on top of it. That is a joy to behold. Packaging alone is blowing my mind. Cardboard insert showing all the bits. It's written in both English and Japanese, which I really appreciate. Oh man. It's just so... even this thing. Come on. Bosanian, whatever it is. It's probably written on the box. Yeah. There's a lot to go into. Oh, it's not over. Hold on. Alright, wait. Quick glance at the stuff in the styrofoam. It's the main Voltus 5 pieces. I don't know how in frame everything is because I can't see the display. But oh dude, look at this. The crazy part is the cockpits. Look, all of them. All 5 of them have little individual cockpits. That's nuts. Alright, it's not over yet. We're not done freaking out. Because all the weapons and accessories and the base are all in a separate layer underneath, which is its own monster. It looks like there's like 2 layers at least. Actually, they're separate. So like the hands and the top aren't there on that tray. Secondary tray for the V effect. A few more accessories, some missiles, and the connector parts for the base, which, ooh, look at that. And of course, the base. It comes in 2 trays as well. Falcon. Oh yeah, it comes with batteries. Oh my gosh. And there you go. That's all of it. Wow, this is a really nice box. Oh my god. This is so overwhelming. We got a lot of work to do, boys. Boys and girls. Let's get this out of the way for now and see what the actual figure has to offer.
Included are a complete set of boarding capsules for each of the pilots, with the pilot figures molded in the colors representing their pilot suits. Steve in red, Mark in blue, Big Bert in dark green, Little John in the lighter lime green, and Jamie in yellow. Starting things off with the Volt Cruiser, a sleek-looking predominantly red airplane with white highlights and a blue underside. Loading in the boarding capsule is a simple matter. Pop open the cockpit windshield and just place the capsule in. A tab will keep it in place, and it's a secure enough fit where it won't jiggle or rattle in there, while still being easy to remove. The wings can be swapped out with a bladed pair to replicate the crew kata attack. Same goes for the yellow fin up front. Prying the nose apart frees the original fin to make way for the crew boomerang. The landing gear is really easy to access. 2 panels near the wings fold out while the middle set swings downwards. The flying pair of rectangles that is the Volt Bomber is a pretty straightforward machine. A pair of separate vent panels are included to cover up the hands that are hidden before transformation. Since these panels are the same shape as the alternate wrist joints meant for the weapons and pre-posed hands, this means that all of those accessories can be wielded by the machine in bomber form, making for some added play value. What I find more interesting about the Volt Bomber are its landing gear. The front set is hidden by simple red panels underneath the cockpit, but the ones in the rear have a bit more going on. Folding open the silver covers will reveal the wheels along with a plastic peg that, when pressed, albeit a bit awkwardly, will release a spring popping out the wheels. The chunky Volt Panzer takes an extra step when loading in the boarding capsule. Not only does the windshield fold up, but the nose also folds downward while raising the platform that will house the boarding capsule. Due to the nature of multiple moving parts to achieve this effect, it's a little difficult getting the capsule to snugly fit without a bit of finagling. The tank treads are made of a soft rubber-like material and sort of roll. The arms on its back also fold out and extend to replicate one of Volt Panzer's signature attack, Panzer! The boarding capsule slots in easily enough in the cockpit of the Volt frigate, though on my copy, it appears to sit in there rather loosely. That might be part of the design as it doesn't jiggle or rattle despite the loose connection. Landing gear on this flying pair of pants are a simple affair once you know the sequence of push, pull, and folds. The Voltlander is a pair of mirrored vehicles that connect via magnets. Since they are mirrored pieces, the boarding capsule can be loaded into either cockpit. The antennas on top can swing back and forth, and the front panels can fold out to reveal some nicely chromed Landa Doriru! Onto the gigantic Falcon base! Truly worthy of the name, Big Falcon. This big old chunk of plastic can be set to a variety of ways to hold even more chunks of plastic. Firstly is the mode for storing all the Volt machines in their vehicle forms. There are even tiny little clips whose only purpose is to hold the boarding capsules to be displayed on the Falcon base in this specific configuration. With all the panels installed, they hold all of the Volt machines comfortably and make for a gorgeous display. The electric V-energy effect can also be plugged into the back to beef things up even more. Aside from making an already very cool toy look even cooler, the Falcon base has even more functionality in the form of electronics. Flipping a small switch up top and pressing one of the 5 buttons will play familiar music from the original TV show. But I know what you're all here for. It's time to combine this bad boy. Take it away, Steve!
Whew! This is a big boy. Articulation on this giant, heavy machinery is... Oh my gosh, this is just so overwhelming. But yeah, this boy is actually really posable, like, all things considered. And it's not the greatest, but it's a lot more than I expected. Like, look at the wide stance I have on him already. Look at that. Look at that wide feet spread. And even though the stand, or the Falcon base, actually has support to hold him, like, there's something here in the back which the backpack can rest on, and having it smooths things out. Let me just show you. You can actually have Voltus 5 all suspended, and there. See, he's not touching the ground. It's actually sort of airborne. I'm afraid the weight might pose an issue with how long he can hold, but if he's just like, in a generic standing pose, I think it's perfectly fine. But, like I mentioned, he doesn't need it. Actually, he doesn't need it. Let's get the Falcon base. Like, as cool as the V is, let's just get it out of the way and have it sit on my cloth playmat. There we go. See, look at that wide stance. It's crazy. That is absolutely insane at how this giant and heavy of an action figure can actually do that. But alright, let's get on with the joints, shall we? So, let's bring it closer. The head can swivel just a little bit. Like, it has detents to it too, and that's about as far as it goes, which is understandable given the nature of its shape. You can only move your head so much. The arms do a lot. So aside from the transformation, like, these actually just go completely unhindered, and all the joints in the Volt Bomber are completely present. You got that, you got these ratcheted shoulders that go all the way around. Got a bicep cut right there. This is present on both, of course. You have ratcheted double jointed elbows. So ratchet up there. And, well, the second one is a friction joint, but this is where the piece that's holding all this die-cast metal is all ratcheted, so that's really good. The wrists are on a ball joint. Can do that if it can stay in focus. We have articulated hands, so ball jointed on the base, and then they all have a hinge in the middle. Just a single hinge, not a double hinge, but it can pretty much do whatever. There's also a bevy of alternate hands, and since these ones kind of push in and out due to the transformation, they actually come with alternate wrists to make the hand swapping a lot easier, which is actually really appreciated. So that's it for the upper body. Of course, given the nature of how there are two cockpits in the stomach, and of course it can't actually open up to release those electromagnetic tops and whatnot, the chest is a solid block. And also there's a bunch of electronics in here, which I will show off later. But yeah, that's it for the upper body. It's still a lot, and I popped the ball joint off the thumb like a goof, but it goes on just as easily. So yeah, on to the lower section. This is just aim at the crotch right there. You've got a thigh cut, which is appreciated, and a bunch of die cast over here. And you got some ratcheted hips, so it goes out pretty darn far. It goes back further than I would have expected, and they can actually go in and out. See, it can go even further in than its normal shape, which you just think it'd be straight like that, right? So that's actually quite the dynamic range. Then you got your single jointed knee, which has a really juicy detented ratchets, and it goes about as far as you would want it to. I think that's perfectly fine. Then the feet, there's a bit of a wiggle. Oopsie. There. When it's locked in, of course, the feet can wiggle just like that. And of course, due to the transformation, it can go all the way out. And if you want, you can make him do a goofy little foot kick if you detach the transformation, but there you go, that's pretty much it. It's basic, but like I said earlier, a lot more than I ever expected. Something of this size, weight, magnitude to even have. So you can get him into a fair bit, like, you know, not super dynamic, but like I said, more than you'd need to. And it's pretty darn expressive already. Man, like, I'm grunting because of the weight of this and plus how far I am in relation to the figure, because of the, you know, the camera needs to take into account all the space for this giant figure. I have my arms fully outstretched just to keep everything in frame. But yeah, that's the articulation segment for this big bad boy.
The electronics of the figure don't only apply to the combination sounds. The two large red armor pieces on the top of the chest are actually buttons that, when pressed in certain sequences, will play sound bits of a few signature attacks. A lot of the weapons and accessories are really easy to swap in and out. Most of this is done via the square wrist slot in which the connector piece is attached to. Also included are a set of alternate pre-posed hands, and as mentioned earlier, a pair of alternate wrist joints to hold said hands. If you want to use the already attached posable hands, the laser sword has a fold-out peg for a more secure grip. As far as extras go, the set comes with the mechanical eagle that was seen on the show, along with an included clear-colored flight stand. The eagle's claws fold out to recreate the scene where it connects the power generator for the ultra electromagnetic ball attack. The power generator itself attaches to Voltus 5's back via magnets, and the mechanical eagle can hook on while either holding the power generator or simply by resting its claws on the back panel. Another extra accessory is a Bosanian Army disc spaceship. It also comes with its own clear flight stand, and that's kinda it. It's there. It's for someone. As a throwback to the original Poppy DX toy, you can also have the figure replicate its battle tank mode. Again, this is for someone. Despite all of the incredible things that this set does, there are a few things that this leaves me longing for. One of which is an English manual. The included 35-page full-color manual is great and with very clear visual instructions, but I would have appreciated a few of the smaller details, such as the function of the waist release button, for example, having a few lines of English text to go along with it. You can find some English in there, and if they went through all the trouble for translating a few lines, why not go the extra mile and add a few more? Or better yet, go with a full-on bilingual manual like they do for most of their model kit lines. Another thing that I feel that this set needs is some kind of prying tool to aid with those hard to reach tabs. I had to bust out my handy dandy part separator for assistance multiple times while handling this set. I've seen some people use tiny screwdrivers as well, but of course this has a chance to leave an unsightly scratch on the figure. An extra plastic piece wouldn't have been too hard to include. My last issue with the Volt inbox is that there is no means to display all of the other weapon accessories that it comes with. Normally, I'd understand that the extras would be relegated to being in a box or Ziploc bag somewhere, but what ticked me off about this is the electromagnetic tops having a swappable bottom peg to work specifically with the string accessory. Why have show-accurate bottom spikes when there's no proper means to display them? The chain knuckle accessory also comes with the end claw in its extended mode, but the set doesn't include any extra stands to help prop it up for display. The overall package is great, near perfect even, but because it is so good that these glaring absences are being noticed. The DX SoC Voltus 5 is an incredible piece of toy engineering. I came into this expecting either a complex or convoluted transformation. Given that this is a super robot design from the 70s, making a functioning toy that replicates a show-accurate transformation and gimmicks while also having a lot of modern posability is a daunting task, and it'll be understandable if certain aspects of accuracy or functionality are compromised to make a good product. None of those issues are apparent here. The toy maintains a chunky classic look while having a lot of clearance for a fairly wide range of motion. It's very playable despite its size and weight, and it's easy to handle all of its various forms after learning how each of them work for the first time. I can wholeheartedly say that this is the definitive Voltus 5 toy out there. The hefty asking price is intimidating, but having handled the piece myself, I can understand why it is the way it is. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is a quality piece. And that's it for the DX Soul of Chogokin Volt Inbox Voltus 5. There was a lot to cover, and I hope that this review has been of some help to you. If there was something I'd missed, please let us know in the comments down below. And if you'd like to grab one for yourself, head on over to greattoysonline.com for great prices on great toys.